There is a pretty good chance that a lot of you watching right now didn't get much sleep last night, staying up late to watch the Buffalo Bills beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first Sunday night football game in Orchard Park in 13 years.
And the Bills are now 10-3 for the first time ever, although there were a handful of seasons with even better records at this point, 4 times at 11-2. But you can feel the excitement all over Western New York.
Yeah, there are a bunch of those computer simulations out there. The New York Times has a pretty good one. And look at this. It gives the Bills a better than 99% chance of making the playoffs, a 98% chance of winning the division. The last time that happened was way back in 1995.
And the Bills can clinch a playoff spot if the Cleveland Browns beat the Baltimore Ravens tonight. Otherwise, our next chance is a Saturday with a win over the Broncos. It is hard to overstate the significance of that primetime win, especially since it was against the Steelers, one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, let's talk it all over right now with Vic Carucci, NFL and Buffalo Bills reporter and columnist for the Buffalo News. Vic, it's always great to see you, especially on a day like this. Thanks.
Great to be with you, as always.
Hiya, Vic. So let's start with some perspective. You've covered this team for a long time. You know the NFL. How excited should fans really be about the postseason prospects of the team, not just making the playoffs, which is almost certain, but making a real run?
Yeah, I don't see this, Kate, as a setup for a letdown. I really think this is legit as far as the quality of the Bills, as far as their ability to hang with the elite teams and beat the elite teams. That was an elite team they beat last night. Even as beat up as the Steelers were, as tired as they might have been, they were still regarded as one of the top teams in the league. And the Bills beat them in every single phase, including coaching.
Yeah, it's such a great point. Vic, I want to talk to you about Josh Allen. A really strong second half, especially last night, right? Came out in the third quarter, was 8 for 8 with 2 touchdowns. And when you add in those 2 TDs, Josh Allen now has 35 touchdowns on the season. You probably heard this. It's the most ever for a Buffalo Bill, and we still have 3 regular season games to go. Jim Kelly, by the way, had the previous record with 34 touchdowns during one of those great years in the 90s. The first half yesterday, though, wasn't as good. How do you grade where Josh has progressed to this point and what he needs to do moving forward?
Yeah, I put zero credence into any notion that the bad first half was something to be concerned about. It's what happens when you're playing a really good defense, one of the best in the league. And it was as much a feeling out process. And again, by the same token, the Bills defense did more than its part, also producing a touchdown, which it hadn't done since 2017. So you have to factor in that it was kind of a standoff, which was to me, I saw that as encouraging. I also saw it as a feeling out process. Brian Daboll, the Bills offensive coordinator, and really right up there if you want to have an MVP conversation about who is the most important person to the Bills' success. Josh Allen right up there, Stephon Diggs. Don't forget about Brian Daboll. And unfortunately for the Bills or their fans, he will be a head coach, I promise you, after this season. But in the meantime, he gets to help the Bills. And he weighed what happened in that first half and figured out what needed to be done in the second half with protecting Josh Allen better and finding ways to get the football to Stephon Diggs.
And Vic, it doesn't seem like the Bills players are letting the success get to their heads at all. You know, they all said last night, one game at a time, focus on the next opponent. They're always talking about, I can get better. But this is really historic. It's been a quarter of a century since Buffalo won the division. Josh Allen and many of the current players weren't even born yet. I don't know, maybe that helps. Your thoughts on keeping the excitement in check, probably for fans, mostly.
Yeah, look, the fans, the attitude of teams generally is let the fans go crazy. Inside here, we got to be focused and keep a level head. This is the whole Sean McDermott way. He does an excellent job of keeping that feet on the ground approach, and I think it's imperative that everybody does that, especially Josh Allen. I think when we saw Josh Allen kind of lose the composure and lose the poise, go back to that playoff game in Houston, that's when sort of an unraveling occurred, because not so much that he got nervous, he just pressed himself too hard. I have to do it all myself to make it work. This is a different guy now. He understands he doesn't have to carry the load that way. It can be shared, and just keep focused, take it a play at a time, all those cliches, and it works out.
Such a great point. Vic Carucci with the Buffalo News. You'll see him at 7:30 tonight on Sports Talk Live here on Channel 2 as well. Vic, great to see you. Thank you.
Great to be with you again.
Thanks, Vic, and thanks everybody for watching. Remember, keep texting us those questions and comments, 716-849-2200.